Hi, welcome back to Happy Apple Core Homestead. Today we're going to do the September garden tour. I'm going to take you out to the garden and see what is going on out there. Fall is almost upon us and it is harvest season. Behind me here, because I know some of you are going to ask, in my crock pot is beef with an orange sauce, and I don't know what I'm going to make with it later, but it will be something quick, I can assure you of that. Let's head out to the garden and see what's growing. We will start in the greenhouse, and I have lots and lots of tomatoes. They're doing fine. They could use a little bit more water than they're getting, but other than that, we've got flowers and we've got fruit. Here we are entering the main gardens, and I have a long stick of bamboo. I call this my spider stick. We are deep into spider season, and I like to use this as I'm walking around to keep the spiders out of my hair. All right, let's start over here like we normally do. This is a raspberry and a mallow that is, it's planted in a pot. I'll show you, it's rooted down. So I haven't removed it yet, but I will. Mallow dies back in the wintertime anyway. It'll be a lot easier to get this up. But there it is, here's the pot, and its roots are deep in there. Over here we have rosemary and blueberries. The rosemary is growing strong. We got a ton of blueberries this year. Really amazing, and I never did cover any of the plants. The birds got some, but still, I got so many. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them all. I'm definitely gonna make some blueberry pie filling. I've been really excited about that. And here's our irrigation system. It's working great. And I know I told you that we were gonna put a roof over these to protect them from the sun. We haven't done that, but the grapes are doing a pretty good job of that. So check out, my grapevines are growing so nicely. So nicely, in fact, that I cannot get through my path. But I'll show you here. These are the Catawba grapes, and they are a red grape, and they ripen late in the season. And because we've had such a consistently dry, moderately warm summer, I do believe they are going to ripen this season. We'll see. It depends on if we just get blasted with rain at the very end. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted. Down here we have jalapenos and some mallow volunteers. I've been harvesting the jalapenos for a couple weeks now, but there's a lot still growing, and we even still have flowers. I'm hoping to have a really nice long jalapeno season, because my goal, of course, was to get a 2-year supply of pickled jalapenos, because I put them in everything. That's pretty much all that's growing here, all along and on both sides of the trellis. Over here we have another raspberry shortcake. It's definitely done for the season, and it will also die back. We got a lot of raspberries. So many raspberries, in fact, some of you guys have asked me to do a raspberry wine series, and I am going to do that for you this winter. So more jalapenos. This giant comfrey volunteer that I keep pulling out, and it keeps growing back. Comfrey's a good thing to have. This is rhubarb, and it is done for the season. I do not harvest rhubarb after the heat of the summer. I just let it grow and then compost down. We've got spider webs everywhere. I missed one. Now I have a spider in my glasses. Okay, this is yarrow, and I harvest both the flowers and the leaves. So they're both medicinal. Great for stopping bleeding. Okay, I'm still covered in spider webs somehow, even though I'm using my spider stick. This is my giant Colombian blackberry. And giant it is. Oh my word, I was a dum-dum. Why didn't you guys warn me? You saw me planting this here like last year and nobody warned me that it was going to take over my life. Anyway, when this dies back, after the season's over, I'm pulling the whole thing and I'm planting it somewhere on my property where it can spread at will. Okay, down here. Let's check it out. Okay, this is your trigger warning. I'm going to pull up the trap and see if we caught a vole. And I think we did because I have my carrots growing here and they are in love with my carrots. So, all right, skip forward 5 seconds if you don't want to see a dead rodent. And, oh, no dead rodent, you guys. When I was out here yesterday, there was a dead rodent in here. I'm sorry, I keep disappointing you. In my last video, we didn't get one either. I got that trap reset. And all along here, I have carrots growing, and also at the very end is some feverfew volunteers, but I'll show you at the end when we come back around. This was a potato bed, and so was that one over there. This one I'm going to plant lettuce in, and frankly, I'm a little bit late to the game. I should have planted it in August. I think it'll do okay though. Let's see if I can find you a fruit over here on my giant Colombian. Check it out. Look how big that is compared to my fingers. And that's one of the smaller ones. They're delicious too, by the way. Here my comfrey has taken over for the 3rd time this year. And in here, there is lemon balm. And it's trying desperately to stay alive because the comfrey is taking over. Okay, these are raspberries. And they're done for the season. I mean, a couple will pop up here and there, but I'm leaving them for the birds. And the same thing goes for the strawberries. I did harvest a few strawberries. They're not going strong, but they are still growing and flowering. So if you take a peek in here, you can see the flowers and some strawberries. This bed also is all jalapenos on both sides of the trellis. Got more raspberries here. So you can see there's some on here. I'm just leaving them for the birds and whatever other critters are in here nibbling on my things. 1 second while I get all these spider webs off of me. Okay, I de-spidered myself. And here are some more jalapenos. It looks like it's almost time for me to come out and do another harvest. And pickled jalapenos are so easy to make, you guys. It's probably one of my favorite canning recipes because it is so easy and it's not a multi-day process like some of the pickles that I've been doing. This is bergamot, otherwise known as bee balm, and this is a scarlet variety, and it's the one that's used to make Oswego tea. Here's the flowers. I just harvested a whole bunch, so there's not a bunch of flowers to show you. I harvested a 5-gallon bucket of these to dry and tincture and use for infused oils. And I'm pretty sure this is an oregano volunteer. I didn't plant it there, but it's growing. Here's what's left of the chamomile. It got weed whacked, so it looks a little bit less crazy than it did before, but I gotta pull all this up. Down here we have peppers. I don't remember, you guys, what kind I planted. I know I planted some lunchbox bells, but obviously I planted some very large ones too, and when we get over there I'll show them to you. Okay, so this is why I carry the spider stick, you guys. Look at this. And that poor honeybee. Look at that honeybee. The spider got it. But anyway, that spider is attached from this bed over to this trellis. So I don't hurt the spiders or anything. I just clear the path a little bit so I don't have spiders crawling on me. I get them crawling on me anyway. When I'm working out here, you guys, they crawl up my legs. They get in my hair. It's spider season. If you want to garden, you got to get used to having spiders around. So these are my lunchbox bells. I think. Or maybe they're jalapenos. This kind of looks like jalapeno. Anyway, that's what jalapenos do, get red if you leave them long enough. Here is some blueberries, and there's still a few hanging on. And these are blueberries almost all the way down. It's all peppers growing here. Yeah, these are not jalapenos. These are lunchbox bells. They're a little bit bigger than a jalapeno, but they're a sweet pepper. So they're not spicy at all. And both sides of this trellis are also jalapenos. I need to come out and harvest these blueberries today. Probably a couple more weeks, they'll be done. But there's some good ones ready to eat now. Let's go down here and take a look at the grapes. The Himrod grapes, I have been coming out and eating them, but they weren't quite ready for a full harvest. They might be ready now though. Let's take a look. Get the spiders. Okay, oops. Let's see if I can get you in there. They're looking good. I think these are probably ready to harvest. I might come out in the next few days and get them maybe over the weekend. It is Friday today, so that might be a nice weekend project. And those are grapes all the way down. The ones in the middle are Concord grapes, and they are a mid-season, so probably October when those are ready to harvest. Let's go back the way we came and head down the center of the garden. See what's going on in there. Lots of spiders. Ooh! So I have to de-web myself every time I do this when there's a bunch of webs, because they get on my stick and then they just float onto my body. And they tickle, you guys. Okay, we'll start over here. See, look at how big these peppers are. You guys, what did I grow? Tell me, what kind of peppers did I plant here? They are as big as my hand. They look delicious. I should pull one off and taste it. I don't know if it's a sweet one or if it's a spicy one. And these are growing all the way down here. And the back side of this trellis is all jalapeno. And here we have some cauliflower. They have gone to seed, and I will be saving these seeds for next year's crop. There's also some oregano. Let's see if we can get in there. Take you closer. So we are in a dearth right now for the honeybees. They are getting ready to button themselves up. And you may hear the bees in the background, but there are just hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of bees in my garden right now, trying their best to get the last bit of nutrients they need to survive over the winter. I am feeding my beehives a 2-to-1 sugar solution right now that they are draining in just a few days. Then I've got to replace it. So we'll do that until it gets cold. Make sure that they have enough honey stored up. Okay, we've got some sage here. And I come through and harvest this and dry it just so that I have it for the winter time. And these are the broccoli seeds. These here, the ones that are nice and brown, these are ready to harvest. See how they're nice and perfectly dry? These I can come out and harvest at any time, preferably before it rains all over them and gets them wet. But these here that are a little bit green and purple looking, these are not quite ready yet. And the marigolds are beautiful. The cabbages look scary, but that's okay. So for those of you who have big gardens like me, If you don't get to harvest every single little thing, please don't beat yourself up. This is a really hard time of year, and if you're doing it alone, you just need to give yourself some grace, because chances are you might not get it all done, and that's all right too. This bed here was potatoes, and now it's being taken over by purslane, which is amazing because I need a lot of it. Now here are the carrots I was showing you earlier. Lots of carrots in here. They're probably ready to harvest. I mean, they look kind of huge. Let's see. Let's pull one up together and see how they're looking. This can be my lunch. All right, what do you guys think? Is it gonna be long or is it gonna be short? Oh, let's see. Ooh, check it out. So this can happen when you plant your carrots too close together like I did. But they're still good. I mean, they're still gonna taste good. And the ones that are out here on their own, these ones will be a lot longer because they're just not crowded. The thing is, I replanted and replanted and replanted this bed so many times that by the time they started growing, I just did not have the energy or the desire to thin them out. So I didn't. So it's my fault if my carrots look a little funky. This is my cucumber bed, and it's pretty much done. I missed a cucumber. Look at that. There's one right there. I thought I got them all, and you guys, I was so excited. I even posted on Facebook, I'm done with cucumbers. I canned up 105 jars of different kinds of relish and pickles, and I just don't want to see another cucumber for a long time. And inside there, I have some Cortland storage onions, and they're not big enough to harvest, so they're just gonna hang out there and continue growing. Here we have my very pitiful corn patch. So anyway, I'm gonna get a couple ears of corn. Maybe. We'll have to see what they look like on the inside. But I'm not too stressed about it. I went and bought roadside corn. I'm really happy about it. Here is a pumpkin. Happy little English pie pumpkin. And they're doing great. I mean, I can't walk through my path anymore, but the pumpkins are pretty. Okay, I'm gonna be a bad girl and walk through my bed. And we have a little baby one. But there's lots of ripe pumpkins in there, and they're just gonna sit here. They're gonna sit here for a long time because the pumpkins are the least of my concerns right now. I have my tomatoes are ready to be processed. Oop, bee in my face. Okay, these are my paste tomatoes, and I'm terribly happy with them. They are just huge and beautiful. And what's not to love? Look how big these are. This is an Amish paste, and it's as big as my hand. But oh, look at, hey, I have a pumpkin all wound up in here too. So I do need to come out and grab some of these tomatoes. If you're watching my videos, you probably know something about gardening, but you can pull your tomatoes. You can tell when to, all right, so obviously you know if they look like this and they're ripe, they're ready. They're ready to harvest. But let's say you get like a really bad rain, or for some other reason you feel the need to rush out and harvest them. There's a couple different ways you can tell if your tomatoes are ready, and they will ripen on the counter. So if they have a blush like this, they're not pure green, they are ready to harvest. And also, I don't know if you can, I don't know if you can see it, but if there's a star on the bottom, it is also ready to harvest. So this one is green and doesn't have lots of a blush, but it has the star. That one will ripen up eventually. This one here does not have the star, and it does not have the blush. So if you pulled this one off and brought it in the house, chances are it's going to stay green. So you're going to want to leave it on the vine. I will leave these on the vine as long as I can, but if they're ripe, the critters tend to get to them. So sometimes I will pull them when they just have a blush, put them on my kitchen counter, and let them ripen up. And they ripen fast, you guys. Really fast inside the house. Okay, let's make our way. I'll show you the grape tomatoes. I've been harvesting grape tomatoes for a few weeks now. They are doing good. I don't have any disease problems or anything like that, and very few split tomatoes. I do water from the ground. It's watering currently, actually, and that helps. And I did do a really great prune on them before the fruit set. So here's the grape tomatoes. I pull them when they get to the blush. That way I can do, I don't have to just do the ripe ones. I'll just pull all of them. If they're any kind of orange, they go inside and they ripen in like 2 days. So no problem. What I'm doing with my tomatoes right now is I'm just freezing them. I'm freezing them, and then I'll do a humongous batch of tomato sauce, because that's mostly what I use my tomatoes for. And I'll do a video for you guys on that. I have one already, but I'll do one talking about freezing tomatoes. So go ahead and freeze your tomatoes. So wash them, lay them flat on a cookie sheet, and then vacuum seal them, and they'll be good to go and ready for you to process later. You can't do that with everything, but you can with tomatoes, and it makes harvest season a lot easier to not have to do everything all at once. Okay, over here we've got some more oregano. Beautiful flowers. I do need to harvest some. I've done a little bit. We have hyssop in here. That's this one with the smaller purple flowers. Next to that is thyme. Then we have self-heal. And self-heal is a great antiviral. Both the flowers, the stems, and the leaves are good to go. And in the middle of that, we have some feverfew volunteers. I'll tell you what, that stuff spreads. I recommend growing it in a pot, like on your porch, not in your main garden, unless you want it for the rest of your life. And it doesn't even pull up that easy. Okay. This is marjoram, and it looks really weird. And something in here, you guys, what kind of weed is this? I didn't grow this. It's probably poisonous. Anyway, check this out. This is a weed. Pretty sure. Look at those black berries, those little round black berries. I will do a Google Lens search and see what it might be. I don't think it's the marjoram. Ooh, no. Oop, nope. That's a weed. It does not smell nice. Okay. Back to that later. Here's some more of these beautiful paste tomatoes. I just cannot get over how huge they are. All right. This is all parsley. It is flowering, which is fine. I have like a 2-year supply of parsley right now. I don't need any more. But if you need some, hit me up. Okay, we're gonna go back the way we came since the pathway is blocked by tomatoes. These are all jalapenos. These are feverfew volunteers, this whole thing. So this is where my onion bed was, and I have harvested all of my storage onions. And I call them storage onions because that's the variety that they are. They're called Cortland. They are designed to be stored, and they are huge. I'll show them to you, actually. I'll take you up to where I'm curing them, and I'll show you what they look like. This is where my dill was. I did harvest all of it, but there's a couple little bits left over. There's even some potatoes down there, volunteers. This is the purslane, and I did not pull it before it went to seed. So inside are these little pods and they burst open, and these are the seeds inside. I'll dump them into my hand. And look how tiny they are. And these are so tiny that they will float on the wind, and my whole garden. I'll have my entire garden is going to be a porcelain garden. But the nice thing about it is it does pull up easy, so if I don't want it, I can get rid of it. But it comes back every year. This is basil, and it's also flowering because I didn't harvest any of it. I know you guys. I could do better. But the bees are loving it. They're everywhere over here. Try not to upset them. Hey, check that out. This is all sheep sorrel, and I need some more of that. I did not think there would be any. I thought it was all gone to seed, but it looks good. I'm gonna come out and get some. I'm pretty sure this is savory, and I do need some of that as well. This is Mexican tarragon, and this is what I'm harvesting this afternoon. It's my top priority because I need so much of it, and I'm completely out. Okay, now onward. This was a potato bed, and now it just has calendula volunteers in it. This bed here is potatoes, and I haven't harvested it yet for two reasons. Number one, I don't have any space for them. And also my daughter likes to harvest them, but she's been a busy girl and hasn't been able to come out, so I've just left them here, but I will have to get them in the next week or two. We have a broccoli volunteer. A couple of them actually, and lots of weeds. Here is some pretties. There's some oregano growing in here, but the biggest and main attraction is the anise hyssop. And I did not harvest it all because of this. I think half of my beehives are out here right now. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the sounds of the bees as much as I did. It's nice to just sit out here and watch them work. You know how they say, chicken TV? Well, bee TV is real. Because these bees, they do not care about us. They are working really hard. You can see all the pollen on their little back legs there. They're working really hard. They are not interested in stinging anybody. They do not care about me whatsoever. And they're not going to land on me, they're not going to get in my hair. They are really just working very, very hard getting ready for winter. Alright, let's head on out. I've got a couple more things I want to show you. Grabbed my lunch, and I'll give you guys a quick overview. And then I'll show you what's growing in the front, because I do have something to say about that. My experiment is basically completed, and I wanted to let you know the results. And I will also take you up and show you my storage onions and my potatoes. Here is my experimental front yard garden that I did not fertilize. And I mean, I watered it, but not a lot. It's my lilies. Okay, so the verdict is the pumpkins are okay, and just okay. I have A beautiful pumpkin here. And it's happy, it's healthy. I'm not worried about it. But they don't look like the leaves you can see. They don't look great. They are deprived of nutrients, and I'm lucky that I got any pumpkins at all. Right over here, these are the cucumbers. They did fruit. I got a pretty good amount of cucumbers actually. In fact, here's one. Here's one now. I've left it here for the critters. And somebody has been munching on it already. But the plants did not get very big. They do not look particularly healthy, although these don't have powdery mildew like the ones in my garden do. But they never got big. Again, they should have been fertilized, but I didn't want to fertilize them. I wanted to see what would happen if I just didn't. And then we have some tomatoes here. The tomatoes are doing okay. Again, they are not thriving, but they are fruiting. We've got some nice tomatoes. I've been out here harvesting them, so that's why they're all green. Yeah, so we got a couple paste tomatoes. They're coming along. They're not nearly as big as the other ones in the garden. And this plant here is in distress. You can tell by the leaves. Whether that be from lack of nutrients or lack of water, I'm not sure. But I would consider this to be a mostly garden fail. And fertilizer is pretty important. And I will continue to use it. All right, so that's pretty much it for the front yard garden. Let me show you some of the things I've harvested, and then we'll be done. All right, this is why I don't have any room for more potatoes, because all of my shelving is full of potatoes that are still curing. And technically they're probably ready to go ahead and can or roast or whatever it is I want to do with them. But I've been working on what needs to be harvested and processed first, and that was the cucumbers. But I also harvested my pears. I got 4 pears, and it's a very young tree, but these are happy little pears. I also harvested my garlic, and all of that is going to be planted. It doesn't look great, but it will grow fine. And I'm also just gonna grow some new stock in October. In case you're wondering, October is when you plant your garlic, so get your seeds ordered now. Over here, I harvested 2 of my mini apple trees. I have no idea what kind of apple this is, but it is a tree that is over 30 years old, and it is a variety that nobody seems to know what is, but they are delicious, they are crisp, and they are a little bit sweet and a little bit tart. And these are from my Granny Smith tree. I don't know if they're really Granny Smith, but that's what the tag said when I bought it. So I'm gonna taste them and see if they're nice and tart. And here is where I cure my onions, because I have no other space to do it. And see how big they are? As big as my hand. So got a few rows of those. I even have my very own front door spider. I hear they're good luck. Do you have a door spider in your house? Before we go, I want to insert the picture of that weird plant that I was telling you about earlier with the dark berries, and I'll put that up now. And I did a little digging, and this is a black nightshade, and it smelled horrible. But it turns out it's actually completely edible. The leaves and the ripe berries are edible, and I guess it's eaten all over the world. It's related to the tomato plant, and it's a common garden weed. So there you go. We both learned something new today. Well, unless you already knew that, in which case I learned something new today. I hope you enjoyed the September garden tour, and I hope you'll stay tuned to my channel because I have a lot more to share with you. I'll see you soon. Bye!